Say what's cracking, YouTube? It's your boy 16 to life, and I'm back like I'm on a pro violation. Yard down! Before I get started, I'm gonna ask y'all to do a few things, man. Could you hit that like, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell? That way, anytime I drop a story, you will be notified ASAP Rocky, and you can check it out whenever you're ready. Now, y'all know what today is, man. Today is my free Game Friday. Today is the day, man, where I try to impart a little bit of wisdom on everybody out there in the streets, and especially the younger generation, man, who may have been misled or misguided by some faulty information from one of their homeboys, whether it was big, small, whoever. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes in these streets, we'll get some bad information, man, that can cost us in the long run. When I was young, we'd have homies come out there, man, and give us some knowledge to help us be more successful in the streets, and at some point in time even transition out of the streets. And we used to call that kicking game. So we used to tell him, hey, homie, when we see him sometimes, hey, man, why don't you come kick, spit some game to us, man. And so that was the whole reason behind doing that. And so that's what I'm trying to do today. I definitely don't want anybody to think that I'm condoning or applauding going to prison, or some of the activities and things that happen in prison. I just tell my story, man, and the streets are cold. So this is what we're gonna do right here today, man. For the cats that's out there in the street, and especially the young generation, I'm gonna ask you to do a little something with me. I want you to think about the top three things that's important in your life right now. Your top three priorities. And I would say grab a pencil and a pen, but I know cats don't keep that nowadays. So either you can think about it in your head, write it down, or even write you a note in your phone, send a message to yourself or whatever, or text somebody and don't even send a text. I just want you to be able to write it down so you can look at it. So I'm gonna give you about 10 seconds. I'm gonna ask you, man. I want you to think about the things in your life, the top three things that's most important to you today. Go ahead and go. Now, I'm assuming for those of y'all that did participate, I'm assuming that the vast majority of y'all, nobody came up, nobody had their hood in their top three. I already know, dudes, because we when we think about what's most important to us, we think about our family, our kids, you know what I'm saying, our future goals, our future dreams. So if you didn't have your hood in your top three, then I think you ought to make you ought to give big thought to thinking about making some changes, man. If your hood was not in your top three, then why are you living like it? Why are you out there in the streets running around gang banging, doing what you doing, prioritizing something that you don't really have on your priority list? That goes to show sometimes that we'll get caught up in the wrong type of thinking, man, and we won't act. We won't act in we won't act in accordance with our thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Because if that was the most important thing to you, if that your hood is really the most important thing to you, it would have been in your top three. And I'm just saying that because when we run around and we live like our hood is so important, we got to put in work. We got to live up to another person's standards of how we should act. So basically, when we accept another person's ideology on how we would perform, it's basically trying to be accepted. That's what gang banging, being in the hood is all about, man. We're trying to respond in a way that's gonna win us favor in the eyes of our peers. Yeah, man, Chill, he got cracking. The dude came by and said something to him, and Chill did this, and Chill did that. But basically, when we begin to do that, when we begin to live our lives in a way that please others, we gonna find ourselves on the wrong side of the prison or the wrong side of the grave. Some of us are lucky and get to go to prison, like me. I got many homies who didn't even get to make it to prison. So, but what I'm saying is, when I lived a life trying to impress others, and so yeah, people patted me on the back when I done something that they thought was active or whatever. But eventually, it led me to a spot where I didn't want to be, and the vast majority of those people who was congratulating me in the street and telling me how much of this and how much of that I was, when I started doing all that time, they was nowhere to be found. And that's just the cold reality of the game, man. People grow up, they mature, they move on with their life. Some go to jail, some get killed. But regardless of where they may land, uh, when it's time to do all that time, for whatever reason, they're not going to be there to help you with the time. They're not going to be there to contribute to you, eating up in there. They're not even going to be around to go past your mom's house from time to time and see if she need anything, need a grass cut, maybe a ride to the store. Just sit and talk with her, man. Once you are in that prison, you are basically out of sight, out of mind, man. And so, like, I'm just giving y'all that game. I'm giving y'all that information. You can learn my way, by listening, or you can learn the hard way. Once you get behind them walls, it's gonna be hard to get up out of there. And so that's all I'm trying to say. And another thing I want to point out is, um, you are the company that you keep. And if you have different goals and different aspirations for yourself, then you need to try to position yourself around the people and the places that you want to do and go. For instance, man, if you want to be a business owner, you want to have you a small business, regardless of what the business is, then try to position yourself around like-minded people. Try to position yourself around people who are thinking the same and trying to get a business started, or people who are actually running a business, so you can start consuming their thoughts. You can start consuming their positive habits. you know, uh, and then you look at them and you see the things that they're doing in their life, and you will be influenced by the moves that they're making. Because if you are hanging with if you want to be a mechanic, then of course you got to position yourself around people who are mechanics, people who know about cars. And so in any other field, any other thing you want to do, you have to position yourself around like-minded people. So now if you look up and you realize the company that you keeping are gang members, hustlers, riders, whatever, people that's hitting licks, then eventually their fate is going to become your fate. That's just the way it goes, man. We are the company that we keep. And so, there's a saying that goes, if you continue to do what you've always done, you will continue to get what you've always got. And basically, so if you out there selling dope, and every 2-3 years you catch a dope case and you go to the pen and you get out and you go right back to selling dope again, what you think gonna happen eventually? So you need to try to do something positive, man. Life is so short, and like I say, once we're incarcerated, it's a humongous waste of time. There's nothing you can accomplish in prison that you can't accomplish on the street. When we're in prison, we're moving at another person's will. We're basically shut down, man. Our development becomes arrested. And the reason they say that is because there's only so much you gonna learn in prison. It's only so much they want you to learn in prison. So from knowing from experience, man, going to prison is a humongous waste of time. So, man, I'm just advising people to try to be safe, try to be smart, man, because every day we can look up, we see somebody losing their life or losing their freedom to the streets. So why do you feel for you it should be any different, man? People have been in the streets for the longest, way back for whenever. And so, the same thing that those people got, the same hustlers and stuff we hear on YouTube, people making these stories and these documents about, where do they all end up? You may have a few who end up escaping with a little bit of bread, but all of them end up in prison. So why do you feel, or they end up dead? Why do you feel your fate is going to be any different? From the dudes who came before you doing what you're trying to do now, man, it's not going to be no difference. And this next topic that I need to address, that I'm going to address, in actuality, it seems like it really doesn't need to be addressed for people in the street, but in reality, it does. And this is for, if you're going to continue to be out there and you're going to be in the street and you're going to be doing your thing, man, I shouldn't even have to say this, but I do. Do not talk to the police. A lot of people think that when the police come to arrest them, especially if they come in to arrest you for a specific crime, they've been investigating you. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people think that they can talk their way out of a situation. Tell the police, I don't have nothing to say and I want my lawyer. You tell them that, they might let you go. It might just be an investigation, depending on what you tell them. But you can't talk your way out of going to jail if they gon' take you. But they might not be ready to take you, and you say something that will give them enough evidence to take you. Now, when the police come to get you, and for those who go to talking to the police sometimes will talk And it will be seemingly like it's small talk, but each and every time they ask you something, they've already got the answer, and they're trying to get, they're trying to get your reply so they can piece together some evidence. They may ask you, hey man, have you ever been in that house down there? And you say, no, I ain't never been in the house. But you may not know. You may have been up in the house and you didn't left some evidence up in there. That's why if you had said from the gate, I don't have nothing to say, then later on, if they did take you to prison or to jail, once they have, because at some point in time, they have to turn over the evidence they have on you. It's called discovery. So once they turn that over, then they might say, okay, your DNA or something was found up in that house. It may be a way that you and your lawyer can explain away why you was actually up in there. But once you give them a statement or a reply to their question out front, you didn't lock yourself in now. So now, there may have been a reason, a plausible reason why you was at that house. But now that you didn't lock yourself in with some bullshit ass top of the head, off the top of the head excuse, now you stuck to that. So anything you try to change from that point forward makes you look like a liar. That's why you always tell the police, I don't have nothing to say, I want my lawyer. And like I said, they may let you go, whether you guilty or whether you not guilty. How many times have we heard about a person who's not guilty being released from prison for a crime he did not commit? If the police is coming to see you about something, they think that you had some type of involvement, man. And it's a trip. How many dudes who swear they street dudes will still try to make a statement and talk their way out of a situation, man. You cannot talk your way out of a situation with the police. Keep quiet. Don't say nothing, man. I want my lawyer. I don't have nothing to say. And like I say, that should be across the board information, and everybody should know that. And I think that everybody in the streets knows that. But everybody in the street don't practice that because they're not willing to go to prison. They're not willing to go to jail. But I'm telling you, for future references, if the police come holler at you, you don't have to say nothing. Be sure to keep your mouth shut, man. I don't have nothing to say. I want my lawyer. And they may release you. They may take you to jail, hold on to you for 48 hours, and let you go. You know what I'm saying? So just keep that in mind, man. If you're going to be in the street, never talk to the police under any circumstances. You already know what time it is, man. You have a good day and resume normal program.